Guys, today I'm taking you on a little adventure with me. I'm gonna be intentionally downtuning one of my guitars for the very first time. Now, the reason I say intentionally, you may remember about a year or so ago, I actually downtuned one of my guitars to E flat standard, and that was because I got a different gauge string without realizing it, so I was like, okay, that's just kind of how it happened. But today, I am intentionally downtuning my LTD M-1000 Deluxe. We're going to be downtuning this. Now, I'm going to let you hear some tones once I get this set up and downtuned and all, and I'm gonna explain, of course, why I chose this specific tuning and kind of why I'm downtuning in general here. So that's going to be an interesting conversation that you and I will have. Now, we're actually going to get right into all that, and on that note, no pun intended, I'm not going to show you the process because I'm actually learning from one of Ben Eller's videos here. He's got a video, as you can see on screen, from March 2016. I'll actually leave a link to that video in the description of this channel, so if you guys want to go through the process, this is a really helpful video on how to downtune your guitar or change the strings or the string gauge when you have a Floyd tremolo set up. So I'm going to be watching this as I go through this process here. Thanks for the help, Ben. Now, for me, this process is probably going to take a little while. I'm not going to make you sit through that. For you guys, it's just going to take about 2 seconds. 1, 2. That was C sharp standard. That's what I tuned my guitar to just now. And man, it's just got a brutal sound. Now, of course, you saw me playing through a real amp, my EVH 5153 EL34 tube amp with a matching 212 cab. I mic'd it up, and what you heard just now were 2 guitar tracks. You guys know I record 2 rhythm guitar tracks, and I'll hard pan each one. Of course, I recorded a bass track, and I just used some easy drummer loops from the death metal pack. That's what you just heard just now. And I kind of just came up with that little riff there. So let me take you through why I downtuned this guitar. But first, I want to mention Ben Eller's video. That's a great video. I kind of skimmed through it. I'm the kind of person that's like, just give me what I need to start with, and I'll kind of take it from there and figure it out. And of course, sometimes you make mistakes doing that. I made some mistakes in this process. Real quick, I'll share what I did, but if you're going to change string gauge, or if you're going to downtune or detune or any of that, his video, which again, I'm not promoting it, I'm not getting paid, he has no clue I'm even talking about his video, but I just think it's a great video. Again, I'm putting a link to that video in the description of this video, so definitely check that out if this is something you want to do. Do it his way, don't do it my way. But real quick, I'll share what I did. So one of the important things is to make sure, as you're going through this process, to make sure that your tremolo is even. It's floating evenly throughout the process. What I do, and again, Ben takes you through a whole series of things that you really should do to do it correctly, but all I did in my case was I use the string box. I buy Elixir strings. That's what I've been using for years, probably over a decade now. And I just use the box. I'll push the whammy down and I'll slide the box underneath that and then just release, and that keeps it even, okay? I'll just kind of, stuff it in there until it's even, and then I'll change strings one by one. Now, I didn't tune the guitar along the way at all. You're kind of supposed to do that, but for whatever reason, I'm like, you know what? Again, sometimes I just wing it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It worked out okay this time. I went through that process, then I started tuning the guitar at that point. And what you want to do is you use your tuning keys to a certain extent, but you also need to adjust the screws in the back of your guitar, this part right here, okay? So you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, and most of you guys know how to do all this stuff already anyway. But again, I encourage you to watch Ben's video because it goes into detail. So I just kind of tuned it to where it was close to C sharp standard, and then I would adjust these screws along the way to get it closer to that, and it ended up working out okay for me. Now, the one problem I did have is when I pulled the box out, the string box out from the tremolo there, of course my bridge kind of floated back down, so I had to play around with the screws some more, but I eventually got it. It probably took me, 20 minutes or so to go through this whole process. Now, the string gauge I used, okay, so whenever you're down tuning or detuning or any of that, you're probably going to need to change the gauge of strings that you're using if you want to do that. Sometimes maybe you don't even want to down tune, right? Maybe you just want a heavier string gauge or a lighter string gauge. I was using 10s for the longest time, and I'd used 9s early in my guitar years, then I switched to 10s for whatever reason, and then I went back to 9s last year. Those feel better in standard tuning. For down tuning to C sharp, and some of you guys will want to go heavier than this, but I used the mediums, the 11 through 49. These are the Elixir Nano Webs. This kind of gives me the same feel as playing with 9s in standard tuning, playing with the mediums here. Now, the heavy strings start at 12 here. I think it's 12 through 52 or something like that. So, or 56, I can't remember. But anyway, you can go to 12s if you want a little bit heavier gauge string on that. I like the 11s, so I like the mediums here. What I will change next time is I'll probably use their Opti Webs. These are the Nano Webs, which are great, but the Opti Webs have just a little bit more of a natural feel to them than the Nano Webs. The Nano Webs are pretty slick, but I've been using Nano Webs for years, but I just switched one of my other guitars over to the Opti Web, and I'm liking those a lot, so I'll probably switch to that next time. But I've had this set of strings sitting here for probably like 6 or 8 months. I've been meaning to do this for that long, and for whatever reason I just decided to do it today. Today was like and I'm going to tell you why I down tuned, by the way, but today was like a studio cleaning day for me. I just decided, you know what, I needed to change strings on my friend's bass. Show you this right here. This is a beginner's Ibanez bass here, and it's pretty cool. It's an X series 4-string. This isn't really part of this video, but I'm just showing it to you because I saw it over there, and it's relevant to my studio cleaning day. But anyway, this is the X series here. It's a beginner's bass, and it's my really good friend of mine, RJ. He's had this since like 1993. I'm gonna do a video on this bass soon though, but I'm like, dude, you need to learn how to play, man. I'll work with you some because I really want him to learn, and he wants to learn. So again, he picked this up years and years and decades ago. He's actually the dude that did the marriage ceremony for my wife and I a few years back in Vegas. So he's very, very close, like family to us. So anyway, I changed strings on the bass, and I'm like, today's a good day to just change more strings. So I decided to change the strings and down tune my LTD M-1000 Deluxe, which I've had this guitar since like 2009. In doing that, I decided to hang my guitars in my studio cleaning day. So there was a blank wall over here for the longest time, and well, now it looks like this. I've got my guitars hung up there. All right, so I want to share with you real quickly on why I chose this specific key and really why I'm down tuning in general. So the reason why I'm down tuning, a couple reasons. One, you guys know I've been talking about doing like a death metal, melodic death metal project, and it may even have a little bit of like melodic black metal to it as well. There's a side of me that really loves that style of music. You guys know I'm kind of all over the place. I love my 80s rock and my 80s metal, and you guys know I play acoustic gigs on the weekends, but I also really like melodic death metal, bands like Arch Enemy and Amon Amarth. So there's a lot of bands out there like that I really like, and I love going to those shows whenever they come into Tampa, the Tampa area here. And forgive my voice, by the way, I'm just getting over a head cold that I had last week. I've got like 4 days to really get over this stuff and get my voice back, because I've got like 3 gigs coming up this coming weekend, so I'm gonna have to cut this short so I don't talk as much. But hey, I've got to do these videos for you guys. Anyway, so I've got a project already in mind. I've got the band name. I want it to be an actual band. Now, whether I get local people to play in the band or if I work with some folks overseas that I've been talking about working with, because I want a very specific sound. That's why I downtuned for that specific project. Now, you might be asking, well, Jason, you've got a 7-string guitar, dude. Why not just use that? Guys, a lot of you know this story. I have struggled with my 7-string guitar. I have had I like you a lot, but I'm not really sure if I like you that much relationship. We'll say that, okay? With my 7-string guitar. I've had it for almost 4 years now. And even though I recorded my album Masterpiece with it, I've just never truly felt at home with it. And I have tried, guys. I have tried and tried and tried. I have gone through phases where I have put all my 6-string guitars away and just played the 7-string. And I've gone through opposite phases where I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to touch my 7-string for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, and then come back to it and see how I feel. And I don't know, I like it a lot of times. Oftentimes, I really just want to play my 6-string guitar, and maybe my hands aren't big enough for it. It's just very uncomfortable for me to play, and I always feel better when I pick up my 6-string guitar. So now, does that mean I'll get rid of my 7-string? I have gone back and forth on that. I may or may not. I don't know yet. I just don't know. I might actually end up selling it because actually I need to purchase some more gear for my live gigs. Those have really been ramping up my acoustic shows, and I might be playing bass for another band. They need a bass player, so if I do that, well, I got to get a bass amp. So anyway, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of other priorities outside of me having a 7-string that, you know, if I sold my 7-string, well, I could put those funds to other things that I am doing right now as a musician, that I'm actually actively doing as a musician. More on that. Of course, I'll share that in another video with you. Now, why did I choose the key of C sharp minor? Well, here's the thing, and I don't know how much or if I will do any of this, but I love the key of C sharp minor. And I said C sharp minor. I tuned it to C sharp standard. It's C sharp standard across the board, but I love playing in the key of C sharp minor, and I love playing acoustic songs in the key of C sharp minor. So I could have like really dark, cool acoustic intros with that C sharp minor chord on acoustic. And here, I'll share a short clip of me playing just a short progression in the key of C sharp minor on acoustic. That would be a really cool intro to going into a metal song, you know, a really cool melodic death metal song with my newly tuned to C sharp LTD M-1000 Deluxe. So, you know, if I ever decide to do something like that, and I know it sounds like a silly reason because you're like, well, dude, you know, you could figure that out some other way. Sure, I could, but I just like that key. It's just, I don't know, it's my key. C sharp minor is my key. I love it. So that's why I chose C sharp. But anyway, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was kind of just a lot of information and just kind of hanging out in the studio together here, you know, which is always a cool time. I love, you know, just talking to you guys sometimes because it really does feel like we're all just sitting in a room just talking about guitar and gear and sharing some cool ideas and clips and stuff like that. So if you have any questions, drop those in the comment section. Real quick before you go, remember to check out the links in the description. I've got Ben Eller's video in there if you guys want to downtune, if you have a Floyd or a floating tremolo on your guitar and you want to do it the proper way without screwing everything up. Again, I just kind of winged it today, but that link is in the description of this video. Again, I'm not promoting his channel. I never talk with Ben, but hey, I'd love to meet the dude at some point. That'd be cool. Also, my guitar courses, links to my guitar courses, Metal Riff Master. A lot of you guys are in that course. Also, I have the beginner's metal guitar course, Metal Guitar Apprentice, if you're just starting out playing metal. So check those out. Those links are in the description of this video. And guys, again, I hope this was kind of entertaining for you. I hope you had a cool time. And if you've watched this far into the video, thank you. This really helps the channel when you watch the entire video, so I really appreciate that. Guys, until the next video, you know what to do. Keep it metal.